get to the money. Gotta get to the money. Early morning, so you know that I'm on it. So you know that I'm on it. Gotta make sure that my family straight. Gotta make sure that the kids in there. Gotta make sure that the bills is paid. And then let's get to the money. Get to the money. Early morning, so you know that I'm on it. And gotta make sure that my family straight. Gotta make sure that the kids in there. Gotta make sure that the bills is paid. And then let's get to the money. Get to the money.
Welcome to another episode of Drinking After Dark, a podcast where we discuss random topics while having a few drinks. I'm your host, Darius, and as always, drink responsibly. And y'all make sure y'all follow Drinking After Dark podcast on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. And y'all make sure y'all like and subscribe to Drinking After Dark podcast YouTube channel. Tonight, I have a very special guest with me. He's back again because we're going to talk about this particular topic. It's been blowing up on social media, the internet, and everything like that. But I just want to say welcome back to my cousin Ron. What's going on, man?
How are you, man? I haven't talked to you this year. Hope everything's going well for you.
Oh yeah, man. Everything's good, man. How was the holidays for you?
And other than me being sick, everything was fine.
I hear you. I hear you. I just want to say Happy New Year's to you and everybody who was tuning in. I hope you guys had a blessed and safe holidays, and I know you guys going to really do it big in 2024. Other known as Mamba year, 24, Kobe Bryant, 24. So that's what they
Cut it out.
that's what they put out. So I didn't say it. Somebody else did.
You just said it.
But I wasn't the one who put it out there first. Somebody else put it out there. So
Mamba year. Okay. I could respect that.
If y'all gonna have that mentality, y'all know what it is. Before we get started, man, Ron, what you drinking on tonight?
Another hometown favorite. Guidance whiskey. We're right here in Nashville. What about you?
Good. I'm just drinking Crown Vanilla straight. That's what I'm drinking on tonight.
That's your drink, isn't it?
Yep, that is my drink, man. Also too, man, y'all could go back and check out the reviews I've done last month with my boy James. It was really fun. The second one we did with the spike eggnog, I was drunk in that one. So just to let y'all know,
I saw that.
I was pretty much gone at that point because we did the buzz balls first, and then we ended up doing that one. But I was pretty much done with that video. So, but it was a lot of fun, man. We got more reviews coming. So if you have any suggestions, please send it my way. And me and my boy James would check it out. All right, y'all. So we got to get into this. I know y'all heard it. Y'all probably watched it. We got to talk about Katt Williams, his interview on Club Shay Shay, hosted by Pro Football Hall of Famer Shannon Sharpe. Katt Williams pretty much went in right out the gate. I mean, right out the gate to start going in. It wasn't even that question asked right up. He just started, right, for like the first 30 minutes of the show, nonstop, going after Steve Harvey, going after Cedric the Entertainer, Ricky Smiley, just to start off. Ron, what's your thoughts on that interview? That first, I'm gonna stick to that first 30 minutes because he basically was really just going after in the beginning. Steve said in Ricky Smiley.
He unpacked a lot in that portion. One of the things that stood out to me, and I don't know, I tried to do a little fact checking on some of the things he said today. And one of the things he said that stood out to me was the fact that he had in his contract that he wouldn't appear in another movie with Ricky Smiley unless Ricky Smiley had a dress on. And that was kind of like, are you reaching here or is that the truth? And as I was, really getting into the first 30 minutes, I watched the first 30 minutes twice once for the laughs and once for to get the context out of it. And I was like, is he bitter? Is he clout chasing? I mean, keep in mind, Katt Williams is funny. He's a funny guy. But is he, there's no such thing as bad publicity. And today, just like you and I, everybody's talking about Katt Williams. So was it a publicity stunt, or I guess time will tell. What'd you get from the first 30 minutes?
I think that he was waiting on that moment because you could tell that, he even brought it up that you had Steve Harvey on your platform. You had Cedric the Entertainer. You had Ricky Smiley. So
right.
obviously he's been watching Club Shay Shay, like some of us do. I know not a fan of Club Shay Shay or anything like that. You should go watch it. It's really pretty good. But you could tell that he was watching his platform, especially with these three guys, and he was waiting his turn. And everybody know Katt Williams, he really doesn't do interviews like that. So for him to want to come on the Club Shay Shay and basically right out the gate, no questions asked, just start going.
Just you knew
you knew he had this on his chest, and you could tell Shannon Sharp wanted to like try to get control back in the beginning, but in that particular moment, you just gotta let him go. You gotta let him go.
By that time, the horse was out of the barn.
It was already out there, and is there some truth to it? Probably not. I don't know because I'm not there. I can only take his word from it. Like what Shannon Sharp said, he can only take their word because he don't know the situation. But man, I mean, it was some stuff that he said that I've heard before. With Cedric the Entertainer's joke stealing, right? He done said that before. And it's been proven, how people on the internet, they will go find the information. They put up his set from Comic View. It's basically the same joke.
It is very derivative.
So
derivative.
You have that. But I think that was the only beef he had with Sid was just that joke. But really, everything was going towards Steve Harvey, Ricky Smiley. And he really went on Ricky Smiley the most, in my opinion, because Ricky Smiley basically said he was supposed to play Money Mike. He auditioned for it and everything. I guess when he got to, and this was his response. I don't know if you saw it on the Ricky Smiley Morning Show. He actually responded to it. He I guess he almost had the job, but he still had to go in front of the executives to audition for it. But I guess that's when Katt Williams came in. They was like, no, he's gonna play Money Mike. You're gonna play the Santa Claus, stuff like that. So I think it could be two truths, but I think Ricky thought he really had the job, and I guess that's what they wanted first. But we all know it's not a done deal unless you sign on the dotted line. Like that's who you're gonna play.
So refresh my memory. Did Ricky say, or did Katt say Ricky said he had the job, or he had already played and shot the Money Mike scenes? Because if I'm not mistaken, some of the comments that he made led me to believe that Ricky was saying that like he already had. Well, he said he half read the script, but he had already shot some of the Money Mike scenes.
I don't remember that.
And when they came out, they were like, "Well, you two gonna switch roles."
Well, this is what he said earlier today when he was on his radio show when he was speaking on it. I do know he said that he shot some scenes and then he had to go back and reshoot some scenes. I guess they changed the ending or something to where he had to go back to LA and shoot it. I remember him saying that part. I don't remember him saying he was Money Mike. He already shot the Money Mike scenes and then they changed it. Said, no, you're going to play the Santa Claus and Katt Williams going to play the Money Mike scene.
We'll have to go back and watch that part again.
Yeah, I got to go because when he said that on the Club Shay Shay, that interview he did, I
Yeah.
gotta go back and revisit that part. But with Steve Harvey, he basically said that Steve Harvey was never homeless, and how basically he was on tour with Mark Curry getting what was it? Was it
3,000 a show.
3,000 a show?
3,000 a
Five
show.
shows,
5
yeah,
shows a
five
week.
was a week. And you basically stole everything Mark Curry was doing. And then when it was your turn, you didn't even want to put Mark Curry back on tour, right? And speaking and which was crazy, I didn't even know this. I know you didn't know this. The joke that Katt Williams basically been saying that said stole from him. I didn't know Mark Curry helped him polish that joke up more.
Yeah,
So
they did.
now you could say, this is kind of like a full circle type thing because he was giving Mark Curry in a way his flowers. He was basically saying Mark Curry was doing this before Steve Harvey, right? And of course, it's kind of like well documented where I'll get to the Bernie Mac stuff later because he really brought that up a little bit in the beginning, but he really brought that up towards the end of the interview. But when you go back, he was saying that he was homeless and doing all this stuff, and Calvin said no, he wasn't. He said that's my story. So he was basically just laying it all out for 30 minutes. And I'm just sitting there like you'll laugh at it because he did tell some jokes in there, but you sit back like, is he lying? Because he said all of these things I was a part of. So he said he can't stand liars, I guess. And that's why he came out and said the things that he said. Um, Let me ask you this, because he said he's not doing this to sell any products or tickets or anything like that. He's on tour right now. Do you think I'm trying to figure out a way to say this. Do you think this was a way for Katt Williams to get back into the like headlines or go viral or anything like that? Or this was just his moment to set the record straight and basically saying, no, this how it absolutely went.
I always say that there is a moment where motive and opportunity coincides. And I believe that this was the intersection for both motive and opportunity for him. Yeah, I did, like I said, I fact checked him on some of it. Yeah, some of it is true. He did. Uh, he took a couple of headlines or a couple of things he said. He took this much truth and made this much story out of it. We'll get into that later. But until now, when was the last time we heard anything about Katt Williams? This is his last show. He does have another one coming up. We
Last
live in a
year,
clout. We live in a clout chasing society. Unfortunately, we live in a society where, and this isn't a knock to Katt Williams at all because he is talented, but we live in a society to where you have people like Jaguar Wright and Tasha K, Wendy Williams, who make money off of gossip, spilling tea, if you will.
mm,
Like I said earlier, there's technically, unless you just really go out here and just do some really, really bad shit, there's no such thing as bad publicity. So, like I said earlier, this morning, Katt Williams, all day today, people have talked about nothing but Katt Williams. Look up and down your timeline on social media. Everybody's talking about Katt Williams. Katt Williams is trending right now. So even though he is coming out with this now, and maybe he's just not having an opportunity to come out with it, but it's definitely not hurting his popularity. I will say that.
no, I mean you got the diehard Katt Williams fans who if you support anybody, a lot of times you're gonna believe everything that they say anyway. Um,
Right.
I think he was just here to really get some stuff off his chest because I think he just felt like, you know, he said it multiple times. You know, he can't stand the liars, this, that, and everything. Um, Over the course of the interview, he talked about um how Martin Lawrence wanted him to be in the movie. Uh it was the uh it was the third Big Mama's house with Brandon T.
Right.
Jackson. And he said he ain't putting on no dress. And he said, go get Brandon T. Jackson. And that's how Brandon T. Jackson got in that movie. And pretty much after that, it just went downhill from there for Brandon T. Jackson. It seemed like um let
How
me see.
popular was how popular? Hold on. Let's stop right
Mm,
there for a minute. How popular was Brendan T. Jackson before that?
he wasn't
Who was really checking for Brendan T. Jackson before that? I'm not
not re-
saying I'm not saying right or wrong, but I watched the interview where he attributed the demise of his career to putting that dress on. And as I'm watching it, I'm thinking, dude, you really didn't do that much to begin with. You really just, to me, not that funny. He's more
I
goofy
think
slapstick comedy than actually funny.
I think his career, you could tell he was trying to figure out a way to get from under Bow Wow's shadow. Because you got to remember, Roll Bounce, Lottery Ticket, they did those movies together. So
Right.
he trying to, figure out a way to, get away from that and start doing projects with other people. But, you know,
And,
from
maybe that's where the demise came from because Roll Bounce was a good movie. Lottery Ticket was pretty decent. It had some bullshit in it, but it was pretty, for the most part, it was pretty decent. So, I mean, maybe stick with Bow Wow for a minute. Let your career mature a little bit more, and then shoot off. That way. Like it to me, it wasn't because he put a dress on. Because if that's the case, why did Martin's career fall off?
I don't think his career could fall off. I mean, he's so well established. He can miss a couple of times and nothing will really
And,
happen to him.
and get back on. Okay, so we can't say that because this man chose to put a dress on that was the end all to be all in his career.
Yeah. Yeah.
He to me he
And
used that as the scapegoat, but
and
I
I
digress.
think too that third Big Mama's house wasn't really that good anyway.
The second one wasn't really that good.
It wasn't, but
The second
you
one,
know,
it just the third one is usually when you bounce back. The third one was trash. The second one was The third one was
yeah,
trash.
yeah. Who else did he mention? Uh, Michael Blackson mentioned him in the interview. Um, he also mentioned Earthquake in the interview. So he was just really just going. You going and when I was sitting there looking at Shannon Sharp, right? Because I'm getting his reactions too, right? Listening to Katt Williams looking at him, you could tell he was trying to figure out how can I take back
How do I
this
reel him back in? Like,
reeling back in.
stop, stop. He was going, So it's like, get you at that point. He was on such a roll. You kind of need to let his batteries wear down.
Yeah,
Which is what he did, so he could, take back control of his show.
exactly. Exactly. Um,
But but then he did turn around at the end or towards the end and gave Earthquake his flowers.
he did. He said that because
Earthquake was funny.
he said, I've never seen Earthquake get booed, right? He just said that his problem was he can't translate the stand up into the acting. That's all he said basically.
He
Um,
also said he couldn't read.
he 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 said that, and you can
He
tell he
said
tried to
he
clean.
couldn't read.
You can
Yeah,
tell he
at
tried to
that
clean it up at
point.
the end. He tried to clean it up at the end, but he basically
Right.
said he couldn't read. Um, who else? But basically, you could tell he. has this strong dislike, um, for Steve.
He said
I mean, Sid, for
Faison.
oh, I forgot about Faison. Yep. Yep. He said some stuff about Faison. I was sitting there like, you know what, that is true. When
Everything he said about Faison is the truth.
I was like,
Everything. Everything he said about Faison is the truth. I cannot think of one Faison love um, special. Not one. I can't think of Faison just really killing it. I mean, other than Big Worm, but I could teach retarded chimpanzee how to play Big Worm. That was his moment. And then, he was in Fat
I mean,
Santa? No, not Fat Santa. Bad Santa. I'm sorry, Elf. I'm tripping.
yeah, he
Oh
was
my
Elf. I was about to
goodness. He
say
was he was
he
in
was in Elf.
Elf.
He was in
Fa- yeah,
he did quite a few things. I mean, he had a TV show with Robert Townsend of Parenthood. He did the Friday. He did the Players Club. He did the Players Club. He was you gotta remember he was the cop in the Players Club.
he was with John Amos.
Yeah.
Right
He
about
was in
that.
that. He was in Three Strikes. He was in like you said, Elf. He was in that movie Couples Retreat. He did stuff. So I sometimes I don't know where Faison Love is coming from. You could tell he knows so much. It's like, how do you know all these things? In a sense, like you doing all this talking. I don't know if your career is like not where it's supposed to be or whatever. You just trying to get back in a
That Faison is a perfect example of what I said earlier. Cloud chasing is real.
yeah, yeah.
So
And
he's not putting out. I don't know when the last time Faison put out anything, let alone anything relevant. But now he's more known for going on Vlad, I guess, or the art of dialogue or whatever. And he's spewing venom like about Jay-Z of all people.
yeah, yeah, he's doing
So
all of that.
yeah, he didn't say blah, 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 blah. Come on, dude. Really?
Alfred,
Like
Alfred.
so that's a perfect example of what some people will do to stay relevant.
I also
So
forgot he was in Bebe's Kids. He played the voice of Robin
he
Harris.
did. He did.
So
He
he
did.
he did some things, and sometimes even in the entertainment business, you got to figure out ways to stay relevant. Like you said, when the last time he did a special, or he never had a special. I don't think he ever had a special
Right. What
because
was the last thing he did? What was the last movie he was in other than Elf?
I couldn't even tell you.
Okay.
That's a long time. No, I take that back. He did a Christmas movie that came out. I think it was either last year or 2 years ago. He played Santa
Really?
Claus, but nobody. I seen it was on Hulu. But he talked about Faison. He talked about Michael Blackson. Talked about Kevin Hart. He got that. That beef with Kevin Hart is real. It's been back and forth between the two. Um, have you ever seen Kevin Hart in the dress?
No, and when he said that, I was kind of thinking like
I've never seen
that
him in a dress.
that doesn't mean he's never been in one, but to
Not
my
on
knowledge,
camera.
no.
I've
Right.
never seen.
To my knowledge, no.
So I mean, it when it comes to a lot of things, in my personal opinion, right? He was speaking his truth, but I think at the same time, people forget Katt Williams was that next dude. He was there. He was that next comedian that everybody wanted, right? And he talked about how many times he done got arrested, right? He done talked about that, mentioned that a couple of times. We all know his legal troubles, is the reason why I think Kevin Hart was able to slide in and take those type of roles that normally probably would have been for Katt Williams. Not saying all the roles, but some of those roles um, could have been for Katt Williams. So I mean, you got some you got some truth. You probably got some pettiness involved. some jealousy, with certain people, and then you defending, you letting it be known that some of these guys out here who's been working, that, some of this stuff have been stolen, right? Again, you go back to Mark Curry, right? People forget Mark Curry was, hanging with Mr. Cooper,
Hanging with Mr.
ABC,
Cooper.
ABC. Guess what? Hosting Showtime at the Apollo, touring with, big artists and things like that. When you go back and look at Mark Curry's career at that time, then you look at Steve Harvey's career before the radio and all that stuff, right? The hanging with Mr. Cooper was about a former NBA player going back to high school, teaching high school, right?
Right.
The Steve Harvey show was about a former funk legend, Grammy Award winning musician going back to high school and teach. So, and then you hosted Showtime at the Apollo like Mark Curry, right? And then, Mark Curry basically said, "Hey, you stole some of my jokes," which you hear so much of it now, people stealing jokes, right? And then, you got Steve Harvey's response basically telling Mark Curry, "Hey, go get you a career." He got a career. He's still working. He's still touring and all that stuff. Why do you think? Oh, hold on. Another thing too. Katt Williams brought up gatekeepers, right? He brought up gatekeepers. Do you think we all know certain comedians are gatekeepers, right? He talked about Kevin Hart being a gatekeeper. Do you think Katt Williams is a gatekeeper as well? He just trying to remove himself from that?
Oh no, that's a good question. I guess it just really depends on how you define gatekeeping. Are you trying to keep certain people out, or are you trying to be exclusive to certain people? Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So, like when Katt Williams, I've noticed that Katt Williams has taken some people on tour, and it's usually a certain circle of people that he take on tour with him.
Mm-hmm.
What's dude name with the Gap? Red
Grant.
Yeah, Red Grant. The real skinny chick with the
Melanie
horrible
Camacho.
wig, Melanie Camacho. Hold on. What is her name? They were all in school dance together.
Yep.
It's gonna come to me in a minute. But I mean,
Want me to tell you? I can tell you.
What is her? Yeah, go ahead and tell me.
Linnell.
Right.
Yep, Linnell. Yep.
So I mean, is he trying to keep? Like I said, if you're gatekeeping, are you trying to keep certain people out, or are you trying to protect certain people and just make sure that these are my people, and where I go, I want to take them with me, and make sure that as I grow, they grow, and as I eat, they eat. Same gate. You think about a house, fence around it. Same fence is, but is it keep people in or keep people out? Usually the fence is to keep people out. But if you're gatekeeping to keep people in, to make sure that where you go, your people go with you, that's not necessarily a bad thing.
Yeah. He mentioned that,
in my
and
opinion.
he was when he was talking about that, he kind of leaned towards Kevin Hart when he mentioned that. What Kevin Hart, he did, he let people in, right? Certain guys who wouldn't necessarily have opportunity, like he did, like Katt Williams did, right?
Mm-hmm.
You look at Red Grant, look at Lunel, Melanie Camacho. He said he done took 46 comedians on a road with him during his career. Now there's certain levels to it as well.
Of course.
Taking comedians out there on the road with you is one thing. then you have some people who got the power to help them put them in movies. So, it's levels to it. I don't fault anybody. I mean, if you want to help the next comedian or anything like that to get into a movie, if you have that type of pull, to give
By all
them,
means.
go ahead and do it, or even just take them out on the road and let people, see their talent that necessarily that, with your fame and what you can draw, you can shine that light on them so people will know like, hey, these they're talented too. So, and you can see what both of them has done great for other comedians. So I don't know what the whole hate thing is and all of that stuff. Um, but you can't fault Katt Williams for speaking his truth because it's his truth.
No,
And
you can't. You can't.
a lot of people were basically saying, "Oh, that's absolutely he was speaking nothing but the truth." How would you know unless you go back and check some stuff because you could tell a little lie here and there mixed that with the truth, and you think that's all of it's the same as long as it
Right.
sound good. So, um, but like I said, there were some people who did respond to Katt Williams. I know I gotta read this tweet. Have you seen the tweet from Michael Blackson?
Yeah, but go ahead and read it.
All right, let me pull it up because I'm not gonna do his voice, y'all, because that he was basically saying before I get into it,
Mother
um,
sucker.
he was basically saying that he's not he's not talking in a real African uh, voice in a sense. I'm like, how would you know? You know, like you basically saying he's not that. Let me go to his Twitter. I gotta pull it up. All right, so he did a couple of tweets, but I'm gonna just read one. He said, Katt Williams is a very smart midget. I can't.
Okay.
Hold on, okay. Katt Williams is a very smart midget nigga, and he spelled it Neega. Uh,
Mm.
he took 10 shots at the top 10 comedians alive today, so we can all respond and make him relevant again. That was one of his tweets. Um, and then he also put out another tweet: top 10 black comedians alive. You got Eddie Murphy 1, Chris Rock 2, Dave Chappelle 3. He even put Katt Williams 4. Top 10 alive today. Martin Lawrence, Kevin Hart, Mike Epps, Cedric the Entertainer, Earthquake, and he basically put himself at 10. So um, he he did that, and also too, I gotta read this. He said, "I'm so confused. I'm African with a fake African accent. My accent had me roasted every day in school and in the comedy clubs in America, and I wish I could get rid of it. Even my Philly accent is fake. I guess the only thing, I guess the only thing real about me, I ain't gonna say that. I'm not gonna read that last part.
Yeah. Y'all go read that yourselves.
Yeah, I'm not saying that. But that was his response to Katt Williams, basically saying he told Michael Blackson to take off his dashiki and go build a school in Africa. And he basically said he told him to do that, but he's saying that when I tell people the honest to God truth, they get mad at me. And and of course, Michael Blackson, he responded on Twitter. I'm pretty sure he's gonna do if he done videos, I have not seen him, but I know he went straight to Twitter. Well, X, formerly known as Twitter. Uh and basically responding to Katt Williams. Um should comedians come back and like respond to him? Like a Steve Harvey, Cedric the Entertainer, Ricky Smiley, you know, uh a Gerard Carmichael, uh Tiffany Haddish.
You if you feel compelled to do so, if you want to clear your name, I mean, That's what Katt Williams is doing. He's responding to what what Cedric said about the joke stealing and all of that. So yeah, if you want to clear your name, which speaking of Cedric, did you read his response? Did you see his response to that?
I actually saw it right before I came on here. I was actually on YouTube and somebody put his response on there and everything like that. And pretty much, let me see if I can find it real quick. How come I can find Michael Blackson's? Why it is not coming up? Um, let me see.
See if I can find it real quick.
But come on, where's it? I know it popped up. But basically, he really didn't have time for Katt Williams and the shenanigans. I know that. You know, let me see if I
Hold
can
on,
find it real quick.
let me find it.
Uh, he basically he basically called Katt Williams corny.
He
Uh,
did. He did.
he
Said
called him
something about
corny.
all of that tough talk.
Yeah.
I'm not that type of comedian. This is what Cedric said. Quote, I'm not that type of comedian. I'm going in your mouth where the joke is when you steal my jokes, and I have a reputation in this industry that if you steal my joke, you're gonna be missing a tooth or two. He explained, I don't play like that. No, I'm sorry. That's what Cass said. Cedric said, and I quote, to all my people's hitting me about the at Katt Williams commentary, I say no, sir. That joke has roots tied into so many other of my jokes. To know me is to know most of my jokes are very similar animated characters, acted out sense of humor. I've had jokes stolen. I've had similar premises to others as well, but that joke has DNA that's over 30 years old, specifically from me. Cigarette hanger from the lip and all.
So
And then
basically,
Cat, well,
go
then
ahead.
Cat doubled down on it and then said, revisionist history. Regardless of whatever Cat's opinion, my career cannot be reduced to one joke. Katt Williams claims as his. I've been over 40 movies. My specials and brands speak volumes for I am. Cedric wrote. And all that and all that tough talk is corny as fuck. I'm a grown ass man and none of that shit gonna go like you think. You do you. I got this over here. Not one
Yes.
time not one time did Cedric say Cat was lying.
Never say he was lying.
Not one
You know,
time.
not one time.
In
Um,
fact, as I was doing a little research on it, it appeared to me as if it was brought up in the past, it was squashed, and then brought up again.
yeah, so I guess they
Excuse
squashed
me.
it, whatever. Who they say that brought it up again? Was it Cat that brought it up again, or was it Sid?
I don't know. I don't know.
Because see, that's the only thing, like in regards to Cedric and Cat's beef, is that one joke, which is
Right.
documented on Comic View that he did that joke and then turn around a couple of years later on the Kings of Comedy, pretty much the same
And
joke.
pretty much the same joke.
Um, Now who else did he? I don't know. We should go get into it now. Um, the whole Bernie Mac thing.
Mm.
So apparently, um, when Bernie left the Kings of Comedy tour, I guess they still was still trying to do it. They wanted Katt Williams to come in and be his replacement. He said no because I seen what y'all did with Bernie. He did all right. So to clear it up, he didn't say anything about DL Hughley. He
No, no.
has
As a matter of fact, in the end, he said he would never have anything bad to say about DL.
Yeah, so he didn't say anything about the ugly. So, but you could tell the I guess the anger towards Steve was because what transpired between him and Bernie. And it's kind of like documented that when after the Kings of Comedy, we all know Bernie Mac benefited the most from the Kings of Comedy TV
for
show.
sure.
I mean, major movies that he was doing. You know what I mean? Guess who? The Oceans franchise, 11, 12, and 13, Mr. 3000, Soul Man. Um, he was in the first Transformers. If y'all
Yeah.
remember, he had that
Yep.
he had that scene in the first Transformers. Um, he pretty much took off. But when Bernie was doing the Ocean's 11, it was said that Steve Harvey was trying to get him out of there so he could be in the Ocean's movie.
Yeah.
And
I heard that some time ago.
and um and you could tell that you knew that started with the Kings of Comedy because Steve at that time he was the bigger name. I mean, we're not gonna lie. When the tour started, he was the bigger name.
Yeah.
But as time went on, Bernie was. I mean, us black people, we know who he was
Right.
from everything he did prior to the Kings of Comedy. But when the Kings of Comedy came out and you saw Bernie set, the only comedian you remember from the Kings of Comedy is Bernie Mac and his set. Everybody will go back to the Sisters Kids. That's what they'll
Him
go back to.
downstairs.
Him, him downstairs,
Him downstairs. All that.
which took that set, turned it into a successful TV show, right? And you look at, do I think Steve was probably a little jealous at Bernie? Yeah, because Steve already had the TV show. You know, he had the stand up special that he did back in the 90s. I think it was called One Man. He did. Uh, if y'all remember, that's what you're talking about the difference between black people and white people getting fired. That was that
Yeah.
special. Um, so he pretty much had stuff going on for himself. He also had Showtime at the Apollo that he was hosting. So he had a couple of things going. Not saying Bernie didn't have anything going because I mean he was doing movies and doing TV shows. Who's the
Well, that
man? Who's the man? He was doing House Party 3. He did
yeah.
Friday. He did
Yeah.
Above the Rim. He
He
did
did booty. He did booty call. He had a small part of
Booty
booty call.
Booty Call, Players Club. What else he do? He did Light right before the Kings of Comedy, by the way. Um, then you had let me see, he did TV shows, Moesha. He did a guest role on the Wayans brothers. Um, so he was out here, making a name for himself. And this is what a lot of people don't remember. I know you probably do. Bernie Mac actually had his own TV show in the 90s on HBO called Midnight Mac, right? It was like a
Mm,
variety show back
yeah.
then. Like when everybody do their first show, it doesn't really, it could be a hit or a miss,
Yeah.
but a lot of people go through that. You know, Steve Harvey had a show before the Steve Harvey show that nobody remembers because it didn't even last, I guess, no longer than a handful of episodes. But
Well,
he would
Bernie actually killed it. I remember him killing it on Def Comedy Jam.
Def Comedy Jam, right?
He killed it. Had on the multicolored shirt. He was dancing. Cut the
Twice.
music. Yeah. And first, what was he saying? I ain't scared of you, motherfuckers. I mean, that
Yep.
was this goes to show how powerful Bernie's set was in the Kings. It was later revealed that night, the night that they were filming, or the 2 nights that they filmed, Cedric actually closed the show. But for
Wow.
movie purposes, it seemed as if Bernie Mac closed it.
So basically, they just rearranged who did what.
Yeah, they rearranged it, and I mean that just speaks to the level of comedian he was at. Because at that point, that was when he took off. And I
Yeah,
remember him in, they were kind of doing not the documentary scenes, but like when they were playing poker or outside talking or whatever. And he was like, America, give me a chance. Give me a TV show. I promise I'll do good. He got a TV show after that. That's when he got the Bernie Mac show.
yep. And guess what happened? Everything, like you said, it took off. TV
Yeah, he
show,
blew up.
more movies, and
He
more.
did
And
his thing.
we're talking about starring next to a Brad Pitt and a George Clooney.
Right.
You know, you got those movies. You starring right next to a Samuel L. Jackson. You know what I mean? Um, Angela Bassett, Mr. 3000. So he's doing all these things. Trent, all this stuff was coming to him, and I do believe Steve Harvey felt like that should have been him in that position. But I
Yeah.
can't see Steve Harvey as a movie star because on that level, I don't think he could do what Bernie or Sid can do on a
Yeah.
movie level.
Yeah.
On a TV show, yeah, you could do it on a TV show, but it's on a big screen, it's a little different than what you're accustomed to. That's why, he only did what? How many movies? Two? He did the Fighting Temptations, had a small part, and then he did Johnson Family Vacation, had a small part in that.
What was the movie? What was the movie he was in with Sid? That was, yeah, Johnson Family Vacation.
Yeah.
They were
So
brothers.
yeah, there were brothers in that one,
I
right?
remember
And
that.
then
Yeah.
um even you take DL Hughley, he he did, was it Soul Plane? Nobody talks about Soul Plane. We all know how we feel about that movie. But he
Soul
did the
Plane really,
brothers.
Soul Plane really wasn't that bad. It wasn't as I am not gonna say it wasn't that bad. It wasn't as how people pub something up to be really, 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 really bad. And
Mhm.
then when you finally get around to experiencing it for yourself, you're like, it wasn't. I'm not saying I would watch it over and over, but it wasn't as bad as people thought it was. I mean, there's some moments in there.
It had its
Snoop and
moments.
and and, and Godfrey and of course Kevin Hart, Method Man.
Yep.
Yeah, it had some moments, but shit, what we talking about?
He DL Hughley
D.L.
yeah,
Hughley and his
he had
movies. Yeah,
yeah,
he did more
he
than
did the
Steve. He
yeah,
did the
he did
brothers.
the brothers, but he also too had his own TV show
Yeah,
at that time. So the only one that really wasn't on like TV consistent like that was Bernie Mac. But
right.
after that, he got his own
He blew
show.
up. He blew
He
up.
blew up, and America got to see Bernie Mac at his. I mean, you got to think he was at his peak at that point. I mean, like he was the guy.
Yeah,
Probably. Even though you got Chris Tucker doing um, Rush Hour movies, right? Bernie Mac TV show and everything else he was doing, and he wasn't trying to be the star right out the gate. After he blew up, the TV show, yeah, because he was gonna be the star of that. But when he was doing more movies, and then when he finally got his leading role in Mr. 3000, and then
hmm
you talk about the co lead with Samuel L. Jackson, Soul Man. I mean, you could tell he was you could tell when somebody take the opportunity and make the best of it. And he did. I'm not saying he didn't do it prior to it, because everything he did prior to the Kings of Comedy got him to the Kings of Comedy. And
right.
then after that, he basically just, I mean, it was just like going like this. Basically, what Kevin Hart was doing when he first when he started blowing up, it was just a moving train. That's what Bernie Mac was. He was just a moving train,
Right.
nonstop. And Katt Williams had that momentum. at first. Once he got on the scene, I mean, he said his breakout was Comic View, right? Did you remember his set on Comic View?
No, no, no. The only reason I know he was on Comic View was because I watched his interview
Yeah.
with Shannon. That's the only way. And I went back for reference because I wanted to see the joke. That was the only. So I mean, maybe to others, but I don't remember him being on Comic View.
Yeah, I don't remember him being on Comic View. I remember him on Def Jam. I remember that he did that. That's when they came back. It wasn't the same. Excuse me. It wasn't the same Def Jam as it was in the early '90s. But I remember he
Yeah,
did uh, Def Jam on that. But my introduction to Katt Williams was Money Mike in Friday After Next.
absolutely, absolutely. That's what put him on because there is,
And
and when he was discussing that part and um Ricky Smiley, Ricky Smiley couldn't have played Money Mike. Not like Katt Williams played it. Katt Williams really made you believe
yeah, he made you believe it.
with the mannerisms, the hair, the nails, like he said, that the purple prowler, the wardrobe, he really made you believe that he was a pimp.
Yeah, I
He was
mean,
really about that life.
yeah, yeah, and that's why I think that's why when he said he was the 201st person to audition for the Money Mike character. During that course of time, I know they probably already had somebody, a couple people. I don't think Ricky Smiley wasn't the only one they thought could play Money Mike.
Right.
But even if it takes 500 people, they were going to find somebody that was going to play Money Mike. So if Katt Williams was the 500 person, he was going to get that role because they knew he was that dude.
This is our guy. We got our guy right here. And for him to remember his audition number, that's like that's a chip. That's like you sitting waiting to hear your number called for the NFL draft. You number 189 or whatever. Some people use that as motivation. For him to remember that he was number 201, that speaks volume.
Mm. Do you remember because he brought up nobody remembers Steve Harvey's stand-up. Nobody remembers Cedric the Entertainer's specials. Nobody remembers Ricky Smiley special.
Now
Do you
that's where the fact checking goes wrong. He said Cedric the Entertainer had 4 specials that they were so bad, they were so atrocious that they're not on Netflix nor Tubi. His special that he shot here in Nashville is on Netflix as we speak.
Yeah.
So, like I said, I did a little fact check, and he took this much truth and made this much story out of it. It's not on Tubi.
No, it's not on Tubi.
It's not on Tubi. I checked, but no, I know for sure the one that he shot here in Nashville is on Netflix. And at one time, all of Ced's specials were on Netflix.
Yeah.
Because I used to scroll through Netflix when I was at the office trying to find something to watch.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
So
I remember.
it was, you gotta what's the word? You gotta embellish your story a little bit sometimes just to, for entertainment purposes. But no, he's on Netflix for sure. Even if it's just that one, for you to say there aren't any on Netflix and he has one, well, that removes the validity of your statement.
Yeah. I do remember that special he did in Nashville. Because I think he also brought out the band too. Was it TSU's band?
Yeah. He brought out the Riscata bands.
He brought them out.
Shot it right there at the Ryman.
Yeah. Which that was the first time and the only time I actually saw Katt Williams perform was at the Ryman Auditorium.
Really?
That's when he did the American Hustle tour. That American Hustle. Remember
Mm-hmm.
that special? Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
that's the one. That's why I saw Red Grant, Lunel, Melly, and Camacho. So everything that was on
So,
that special, I seen live
mhm.
at the ramen.
So out of all the Katt Williams specials, in my opinion, he had a couple of them that weren't that great. I want to
And
say World War III or something like that. He had and this isn't talking bad about Katt Williams. I'm not gonna say they're not that great because we reside in a society where if you speak your opinion a certain way, you're considered a hater. So for elucidation, so that I'm not labeled as such, he had a couple of specials around the same time that didn't appeal to me.
yeah,
I'll say,
I
I'll
mean,
say that.
when you have that many specials as he said he has, some of them gonna be some misses. You
Yeah.
know, it's just how it is. I just remember the Pimp Chronicles one, American the American Hustle.
Yeah.
Um, he did one right after that. I forgot that one. He did one
I'm
right
not
after
saying
that.
I'm not saying all of them bomb, but he did have a couple that to me they just did not appeal to me.
Yeah, I mean, even with Kevin Hart, he didn't hit every time he put out a special. So, I mean, that doesn't mean he doesn't have them. It's just that, each comedian has that one special that people will remember you by, right? Um,
Right.
what's that one, the Ricky Smiley special he did? I know BET
Open
don't play them. Yeah,
open
what's it?
casket sharp.
Yeah, that's the one.
That that was to me. I thought it was funny.
I thought it
He
was
had
funny
some
too.
he had some funny moments in that.
Yeah, he had funny moments in that. I can even go to the Steve Harvey stand up one man that he did back in the 90s. I
Yeah,
thought that
he
was
had some
funny.
funny. He had some funny
You
moments
know,
in that.
just because it's your opinion doesn't mean it's everybody else's opinion that somebody's not funny.
Yeah, a couple of.
Comedy,
It's all about people's taste. Like some
yeah,
people don't think Kevin Hart's funny. I think Kevin Hart is hilarious.
yeah.
Some people don't
So
think Dave Chappelle is funny. Dave Chappelle almost had me pissing on myself last night watching The Dreamer. There's a couple of jokes. My wife looked at me like, "Are you okay?" It was just, to me, just ridiculously funny. Side split humor.
yeah, there's some for everybody. You know what I mean? Comedy is subjective, just like music, movies, TV
Just like
shows,
everything else.
everything else, and you know that's how you feel. That's how you feel. But again, don't always just take a word because like that's what Shannon Sharp did. He doesn't know. So if he's hearing stuff for the first time, he's gonna take like, all right, I'm gonna take that at face value because this is the first time I'm
Right,
hearing this. Like
right.
any other person who's gonna interview anybody and you hearing this stuff for the first time, you're gonna take it at face value until somebody
And
comes on and
right,
disputes that.
and why wouldn't you? Unless it's somebody that you feel like you have to fact check. I mean, this isn't a political debate. This is you coming on here. This is going to be aired nationally through via the internet. So why would I, if you're not saying something that's just ridiculously outlandish, why would I, as an interviewer, not believe you?
Right, right. And he also brought up some people that in comedy. He brought up Ludacris, how they both were at the Illuminati together. They were like on that same level. And one basically said you gotta cut your hair, you're gonna get 200 million for a franchise, and the other one is not. Who did it? I'm like, well, listen, I don't know if that's true or not, because listen, we all know how big the Fast and the Furious franchise is. It's a huge franchise. 10 movies in.
Huge,
I
huge.
thought they were done. I thought 10 was it. Apparently it's not. I don't know if you
No,
saw I don't know if
I
you saw
did.
number 10.
I did. And left me mad. It
I
didn't leave me mad. I left the theater mad. Like, damn, now I got to wait 2 more years for 11 to come out or 10 part two. I honestly, there wasn't anything that made you believe in the trailers and the previews that this wasn't going to be it.
Yeah, yeah. So they're going on with that, um, and everything like that. But also too, let me see. Ludacris has done some work outside of the Fast and the Furious franchise, right? The new Disney movie.
Did you see it?
I seen it with a Lil
What?
Rel, and
Yeah. Anyway.
I seen it. I just took it for what it's what. It was
Yeah.
a Christmas movie. It was just a
It was
Christmas
it
movie.
was a Christmas movie. It was a Disney movie. It seemed like there was some times that it seemed like it was about 45 minutes too long to me.
Yeah,
Like it was a lot of times it was just some fluff. I can tell when they're putting fluff in the movie, but like when they were on stage dancing and shaking around and like, come on, man, that's 5 minutes of fluff. Stop.
yeah,
Just stop. You could have left that out and replaced it with something else. He just did the Netflix movie with Latifah. He
yeah,
played her brother. Yeah, see, he's got some work outside of Fast and Furious.
yeah. And and it also brought up how when these guys get to that level, they all have the same type of wife, right? The light skin with the type of face that doesn't do interviews ever, stuff like that. And I seen people post pictures of these comedians with their wives or
With the
whoever.
This isn't Eddie Murphy's first wife, though, if I'm not mistaken.
The who Nicole Murphy? That was his
Yeah,
first. Yeah, Nicole Murphy. That was
man,
his first. Because I don't think he was
oh
married before
no.
Nicole Murphy.
Uh,
You want to make me fact check this one? Because now
yeah,
I'm
that's exactly what I'm doing.
because I know he was
How
with her
many
for a long time.
times has Eddie Murphy been married? Oh, well, I stand corrected. One.
Yeah, yeah.
No, well, I mean, is married to Nicole Mitchell in '93, divorced in 2006.
Yeah,
So whoever he's with now, he was partners with Brown, who is Scary Spice.
yeah.
Like,
Got a
let that
baby. They
go.
got a they got a
Yeah, got a
baby.
baby. Got a baby. The guy, he's saying, I have to. Tracy Edmonds, Age Butcher, been with for the past 11, 12 years.
Yeah,
So Nicole Murphy was the only one that he was actually married to.
married too. Yeah,
But for Katt to say they all get the same type of wife, I was like, what do you call them? Funny face, light skinned wife or
yeah,
something.
yeah.
They don't do interviews.
Are they supposed to?
No, no. And that's the thing. Who wants to interview Chris Tucker? Well, I ain't gonna say Chris Tucker. Who wants to interview Martin Lawrence's wife? Unless she's doing something.
Right.
She's not Aisha Curry out here with cookbooks and all of that. She's at
Nope.
home chilling.
Looking
And
for
this
guys to
definitely
hop in their
isn't
DMs.
right. And this definitely isn't Steve Harvey's first wife. We know that for a fact.
Three. It's third wife.
Exactly. Right.
So
And she ain't that light skinned. And Katt Williams is light skinned. Let that sink in for a minute.
that's true. Yep. Yeah, he's in between me and my daddy. That's where he at.
Yeah. You definitely lighter than a paper sack, my guy. So you can't talk about. I mean, you can't really talk about funny face light skinned women and you light skinned yourself. Like, what does that say about you? And I think that was just the joke part. All of them have. That's one thing they all have in common. So now he just kind of used that to add validity to his story. That's really, to me, I'm thinking that's just a coincidence.
Yeah, I think it is too because
I didn't even know Michael Blackson was married.
when did he get married? I thought he was just engaged.
Oh, well, I saw the picture of the light skinned girl with him. I don't know if he's married or not.
No, because
I
I
just
remember he was on the
listening, me listening to Katt Williams. I just assumed he was married.
yeah, I don't think he married. Yeah, he's not married because I know he was engaged to a female.
Mm.
Yeah. Um that's all I know. I know he's not married. I know she wanted to get married. I forgot what that reality show was. It was on VH1.
Mm.
Something with the couples. So 2021, July 2021, he proposed to his girlfriend during a radio interview on the Breakfast Club.
Uh-oh.
Um oh, and he just became a US citizen, by the way, too. So
Good for him. Mother sucker.
yeah, he became a US citizen. Um of course, he built this school back home in Africa. Um he has that. But yeah, he's not married. Not yet. I'm pretty sure he will be whenever that time comes. But he's not married right now. So
Mm.
yeah, he 49. He'll be 50 this year in November.
Hey, I didn't know he was
So
that old.
nah, he don't even look that old, to be honest. But he's been doing comedy for a very, very long time.
Yeah. You
You
think he's
know,
funny?
I like him. I like him.
I like, I like Michael Blackson too.
He I don't know. It's just something about him. It's like anything that he does, um, whether it's stand up, whether it's like movies, um, whether it's wilding out, he's always gonna bring that funny.
Yeah,
Um,
he has funny energy.
yeah, that's what he
He has
has.
funny energy. No matter, I mean, sometimes just seeing him, the way he walks up in his facial expression, to me, I start laughing.
Yeah, so I like him. Not too many comedians I'll rock with, but with him, I'll rock with him. Um, but once again, as a comedian like Katt is, he said he done what 12, 13 specials.
Hmm.
I never seen 12, 13 specials aired. Unless he talking about DVD releases that he's done,
I mean, a special is a special. You know what I
you
mean?
know, but I only know how many he's done. I think I
Yes.
know about four, maybe five. Um,
I'm about to look it up now. How many comedy specials does Katt Williams have? I'm not getting
let me
an
see.
answer. Let's see. Stand-up specials in order. IMDb. Uh, IMDb is only showing four. I know he had more than four. They want you to get the app to. We'll go to
Gotcha.
Dead Frog, whatever that is.
Okay.
Priceless Live, Apocalypse, Pimperdelic, is Pimpin', American Hustle, Gonna Play a Play, Pimp Chronicles, World War III, Great America. Those are the two to me that just weren't
The Great America. Okay, I
Great
remember that one.
America. Yeah, he was in Def Comedy Jam 25, Priceless Afterlife, Chocolate Sundays Comedy Show live on Sunset Strip, Not Live, Pimp Legacy, American Hustle. Yeah, so he's done a few. He's done a few of them.
Yeah, I forgot. Like I said, you done specials. Like you said, everybody's not unless they're a true diehard Katt Williams fan. Everybody's not gonna know all the specials that you've done. That doesn't
Right.
mean it's not out there. It's just that every comedian has a strong fan base.
Right.
So
And he didn't say how successful his specials are.
no, not all of them. So
I could say I own 300 pair of tennis shoes. What does that mean? You know what I mean?
yeah,
250 of them I got from Walmart,
right.
but 50 of them are like Jordan. You see me in a pair of Jordan, like, man, how many pair of shoes, man? I own 300 pair of shoes,
Uh,
300 pair of tennis shoes.
who else did he talk about? A few more
I
minutes.
tell you, I tell you who he didn't talk about.
Who was that?
Dave Chappelle.
Oh yeah, no, I knew he wasn't gonna talk about Dave
And
Chappelle.
Shannon tried to pull him in that direction, like, tell your Dave Chappelle story. No, you tell it. He wasn't touching that.
He wasn't. He already looked. He already knew. We already knew he wasn't gonna touch. He wasn't gonna touch Dave Chappelle. He already said he's not gonna touch DL Hughley. Uh, who else did he say he wasn't gonna touch? There's a lot. Of course, Bernie Mac. He ain't no way he's touching that. He's
Yeah.
defended. He defends all of them. He defended all of them. Um, he even brought up how I don't know if you caught this. How Gary Owen, right, the comedian,
Mm-hmm.
how the reason why he hasn't crossed over to main, and he's already white. He always say he's black famous. Why he hasn't crossed over is because he wouldn't do the things that Hollywood want him to do. Is the reason why he hasn't crossed over. So
But Gary Owens just, to me, Gary Owens isn't that funny. If I was to name 10 comedians I would love to watch a special on right now, Gary Owens wouldn't even make the top 10.
he
To
don't
me,
to
like he doesn't appeal to me. I gotta watch my verbiage here. He
yeah,
his comedy does not appeal to me. I'm not gonna say he's not funny. He just doesn't appeal to me.
right. Um, I know he did a set on a Mike Epps thing he did, which I thought that was funny. Um, but yeah, in terms of the specials and anything, I'm not rushing to go see a special unless I'm scrolling through and I see it. I'm like, well, do I want to click on it? Not. If I do, I'll check it out for a little bit, give it at least a shot. That's the type of person I am. But he mentioned that. He mentioned Kanye. He couldn't really speak on Kanye because he doesn't know like what do we exactly want from Kanye, which was um I thought I agree with him on that because it's
Do
kind of
you?
like
Do you? You really agree with him on that?
I
You don't
mean,
know what to
listen,
expect from Kanye?
well, not
I can
to
tell you what
expect,
I
not to expect. That's
okay.
the wrong word. What you want from Kanye, I think that's what he
I
said.
can I can tell you what I want from Kanye. I want the old Kanye back. I want through the wire Kanye back.
Great
I
album.
want I want the Kanye that said Bush doesn't care about black people.
Out
I
doing the
want that. Yeah,
yeah, I know what
on
you're talking about.
live TV during 9/11.
With Michael Myers, right?
Yeah, and Michael Myers was like,
What?
I want that Kanye back. I stopped messing with Kanye after Dark Twisted Fantasy, which to me is a very dope album. But when he started doing Yeezus, I started seeing Kanye go this way, and I just let him go. Don't
Do
fool
you
with
think?
Kanye.
Do you think Kim Kardashian had something to do with that as well?
No,
Because he was
no.
already going to that direction
I,
anyway.
again, like I said earlier, there's always a moment where motive and opportunity coincide. He was already that way before Kim. Kim didn't make him crazy.
Yeah,
And if that's the case, he's not with Kim anymore, and he's still.
still doing what he's doing.
Yeah, I mean, You hanging out with what's his name? Nick Fuentes. Nick Fuentes don't like black people, and you hanging out with them. You
I,
talking about you talking kind about Hitler. I mean, come on, dude. Kanye is the type of person.
Slavery was a choice.
Yeah, all of that. Harriet Tubman didn't do what she did. Like, you're making it like that in the public eye that's not in the public like that. They make it hard for people like us. To me,
Mm.
you got some real activists out there, boots on the ground, really doing the work for black people. And for you to say the things you say, you make it dangerous for them. Nothing's going to happen to Kanye. He's a multimillionaire. Security.
Mm.
He doesn't have to come out in public and he can live an obscure life. He doesn't have to come out in public and go to the grocery store or have to worry about getting pulled over for a traffic ticket because he's not driving anywhere. You know what I mean? So
Mm.
when he makes these comments, that's what, and people like people know I don't like who Kanye has become. And some people are so forgiving in there. Well, what Kanye do to you? Kanye has made it hard for me as a black man. To me, Kanye has sold out. You could say, I mean, you could call people like Tim Scott a sellout, but I can't say Tim Scott is a sellout because I've never known Tim Scott to buy in.
I never heard that either.
Kanye, we know who Kanye was and we know who he's become. And some people are just so excited about his music. No matter what Kanye do, they're fans. And I know we're kind of veering off into a different direction, but I wear a lot of polo and I have a lot of Jordan, a lot of Nikes. And if Phil Knight says something off the wall, I don't know what I'm going to do about my wardrobe, but I can't rock with him no more. That's just me.
Yeah,
he's just made it hard for a lot of black people.
And if you really
Because
think about it,
he don't have to go through the struggles that black people go through because he's rich.
and you gotta think about it, his actions have made other people more famous.
Right.
I'm talking about you, Taylor Swift.
I don't know. Taylor, I don't think he made Taylor more famous. I mean, Taylor was gonna be Taylor regardless.
But you gotta think at that particular time, she wasn't
the Taylor
Swift.
that she is now.
Yeah.
But
So
neither was Beyonce. Neither was Beyonce. Beyonce wasn't the Beyonce that she is now. Neither was Kanye for that matter. You know, that Kanye wasn't the Kanye that, what was he, about 2 albums in at that point? Maybe 3?
Yeah, 2
Maybe.
albums, bunch of
Excuse me.
Yeah.
He wasn't the Kanye that he.
Only reason I said that.
He had hit his pinnacle.
Only reason I said that because Taylor Swift came out and said that nobody helped her get to the place that she was, and I'm thinking like, don't say you never had help, because we know we know what took place at the VMAs that one year.
But that wasn't really. You
I
think
mean,
that helped? Do you honestly think that helped propel her?
Yes, because she wasn't in the news like that. She was not in the news like that. If you
came out,
only the country fans knew who she was.
She hadn't crossed over. Taylor hadn't crossed over at that point. Taylor just recently, I ain't gonna say she just recently crossed over, but Taylor crossed over from country to pop.
That's what I said.
short for popular. But even at that time, she was just country. But Taylor, I knew Taylor was going to be as big as she was because Taylor's a true music fan. If you ever watch the award shows back then, no matter what song was on, if they go to Taylor, she was singing the lyrics to it.
Like Keith Urban.
Yeah, no, like hold on.
Because Keith Urban was doing that too.
Yeah. But like Bruno Mars, Locked Out of Heaven.
Uh
He was performing and then Sting came out and performed with him. They cut to Taylor Swift. She was
Sting.
up there dancing and singing the lyrics. Yeah, I see.
Sting. Yeah, that's one guy who's getting paid daily by Diddy.
Because Diddy was stupid, but anyway, we ain't finna get into Diddy right now. That's a whole nother show.
You don't want to get into Diddy and TD Jakes? We ain't gonna do that. No, we ain't gonna do that.
That's a whole nother
So
show.
so basically, after watching the whole interview, man, what was your biggest takeaway from the interview on Club Shay Shay?
My biggest takeaway from the entire thing, and believe it or not, it wasn't, the things he said about Said and Steve and just his story. The fact that he left home at 13 with $2,500 in his pocket, he and his Rottweiler puppy in his suitcase, and he hopped in the back of a truck with a trucker that he didn't know, and went to Florida, and he was homeless, living in Coconut Grove, and how he studied the craft of being a comedian. You don't hear a lot of comedians talk about studying the craft of being a comedian. And a lot of the comedians that he referenced, I resonated with because they were comedians I watched when I was younger, like George Carlin. I thought George Carlin was one of the funniest guys on earth. Robin Williams is, funny. So
Yeah.
just the fact that he didn't just start out telling jokes. He actually studied to be, I've got to be funny. These are the top 300 comedians. And I'm not ready until I'm funnier than these 300 guys right here. Not the top 10, not the top 50, the top 300.
One thing I would say about my takeaway from Katt is that he's gonna be honest. He's not gonna shy away from anything. I mean, he's been in the news for worse. You know what I mean? So
Facts.
because y'all gotta remember, if y'all know his track record, I know you saw it where he got into it at the club. Somebody was performing and he tried to jump on dude and he got beat. Y'all seen the viral video he got into it with that little kid, and little kid had him in the chokehold.
Yeah.
So this is nothing new to Katt, right? And he's speaking his truth, and you could appreciate somebody speaking their truth and everything like that. And I also appreciate the fact that he's in a way speaking up for guys that normally won't even get that chance to really speak up for themselves and things like that.
That's real.
So
That's real.
And he also acknowledges, like you said, the people that took him under his wing and took him under their wing and basically helped him along the way and stuff like that. So you mentioned the George Carlin. I didn't know about the George Carlin.
He said George Carlin was one of the comedians he watched or listened to
was
and studied.
Let me see, because he said he also went on. It was at that same tour with Larry the Cable Guy, but he wasn't Larry the Cable Guy back then.
Yeah,
Was it?
yeah, and who else? I can see dude right now with the mustache and the blazer. Damn, what is his name? But anyway,
But he always said that he's a student of comedy, regardless of who it is. he was mentioning people that you didn't think you would ever mention. Um, was it who was on the Blue Collar Comedy Tour? Was it not Larry the Cable Guy, not Jeff Foxworthy? Um,
He did mention Jeff
Bill.
Foxworthy.
Well, he mentioned him, yeah.
He
But
did
it was
mention Jeff
somebody else on
Foxworthy.
that tour. Dang, I forgot. But he mentioned communities he studied, and
Jeff
also
Foxworthy, Bill Engvall, Larry the Cable Guy, and Heidi Klum was on that. Yeah, yeah. She ain't funny. But I think he remember. I think he mentioned Bill Engvall, but I know he
yeah,
definitely
I
mentioned
think
Jeff
that's what I think.
Foxworthy. That's what I was thinking about with the mustache and the blazer and Larry the Cable Guy.
Yeah. So he
Ron
mentioned
White.
them.
I think he mentioned Ron White, Lance Smith.
You like Ron White? You ever?
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
I don't know. So I was just asking because I never really seen him perform. But I like how you said that I'm a student of the game of comedy. He didn't just a lot of people would expect a black comedian to mention other black comedians before him, but I like how you said, no, I'm a student of comedy as a whole, and his for him, he always seeks. I guess he always wants to seek knowledge wherever he's at. His journey from, a boy to a man, leaving, like you said, at 13, going down to Miami, being homeless, got him and his, puppy right next to him. That's all he got, traveling to Oklahoma, then to like Sacramento, then made his way to LA, talking about how he could do shows in front of white people, do shows in front of black people, do shows in front of a mixed audience and things like that. Just to hear that journey. No, he even talked about some of the things he was doing and how once he became a father, changed him to say, okay, I got to make this work because I can't continue to do that anymore. So this
Right.
has to work, and um, you can see the time and that he put into it, and of course the story is how he knew uh, a lot of these people. I didn't know he knew Nick Cannon when he was a teenager,
No, I
14.
didn't know that either. And how he
So
helped Nick Cannon with the Wilding Out.
yeah, so a lot of those stories, man, I took away from it, but most importantly, man, the fact that he's not going to apologize for what he's saying.
No,
He stands on what he says, and
he said
you
what he meant
know
and meant what he said.
you got a problem
But
with it, that's on you.
I did run across a thread that Deion Cole started where people were talking about how generous Katt Williams really is. I think Life Jennings said something about, he was down on his luck and Katt threw him some money. One guy said he was DJing a party and Katt put some money in his hand and he thought it was, the pay for his job, for his performance that night. And it wasn't. It was really just a tip, but it was like $2,000 when Yvette, I can't think of Yvette's last name. She used to play on the Parkers with Monique.
Yeah,
Is it
what's it?
Browns
Yvette
in it?
Wilson? Yvette Wilson? I think that was her name.
Yeah. Anyway, when she got sick, he,
Yeah.
paid her medical bill. So people were talking about how, and these are stories that, he's not doing it because of for the notoriety. Because if he
Right.
was, we would have heard these stories a long time ago. He's just, just giving back.
And speaking of
He's really
that,
helping
talking about
people.
his generosity, Melba Moore, sponsored her to get a star on the Hollywood.
On the right.
So
Fame. So
he did that, basically saying that, hey, I believe that she deserved one, because she didn't change for anybody. So, you know, he doesn't speak on it because, like you said, he's not doing it to
he's doing it
build
from the heart.
himself up. He's just
Yeah.
doing it from the heart.
Things he just want to do.
So hearing stuff like that is pretty cool, man, because you got a lot of people, as soon as they do something good, they want to pull out their phone and record it and saying, "Oh, I'm doing good. Watch this," instead of saying, "Man, just out the kindness of your heart, man," and that blessing to
Like
come
I
back
said,
to you.
like I said before,
Uh,
cloud chasing is real. We live for likes. We live for likes and thumbs ups and hearts. Social media. Look what I've done, lately.
yeah, yeah. And
Unfortunately.
one last thing I would take away from the interview, man, Shannon Sharp, you ain't got to be nervous. Your show ain't gonna get canceled. This is probably the most buzz you ever had on your platform and forever.
Nah, they ain't gonna
So
cancel Shannon. Because if he
yo,
was really, really worried about being canceled, Shannon had, he has all rights and refusals to his show. So if he was
yeah,
really worried about being canceled, he wouldn't have aired that. Shannon ain't that stupid.
nah,
And he
nah.
probably omitted some things to
He
protect his
said
brand.
he said on his other platform, Nightcap, with he had Gilbert Arenas on, how he should have started recording before the show, before they actually started recording. So,
Mm,
so there was some things, before then he said, man, I should have just went ahead and started recording right then and there. Um, but you know, for to have to have a guy like Katt Williams, right? And basically speak his truth, you just like, I don't know what's going on, because as you're trying to control your platform, but sometimes you're like, man, you can't, falls right in your lap. It
yeah.
just falls in your lap, and you just got like, man, I'm gonna take my drink. I'm gonna let him keep talking. Then when he slows down, I'll ask a question, get him back going again, and then hey, I could reel him back. You know, reel him back. We could go from the beginning and all that stuff, talk all that other stuff. But hey, man, I if that was me, you know how happy I would be if that happened on my podcast.
I know you would. I'd be happy for you.
I'll be like, man, I ain't interrupting nothing. Matter of fact, let me get some more wood and throw. Yeah, let me throw
No,
some
no,
more wood
no,
over here.
no, no. We're not, no, no. We stopped the cameras.
Let me go ahead and throw more sticks to the fire, man, so we can keep this thing going, because you know that's something that I would say, taken away from that it was, and I'm really saying, because how excited I am, because this is the first time I actually sat down and watched someone else's podcast for almost 3 hours. Even though I didn't watch it straight through, I watched it
Right.
in three different
Yeah. It
three
was
different
it was a
times.
3 hour podcast that you wanted to finish.
Exactly.
I actually dozed off on it last night, and I was telling my wife. I said I'm doing a podcast tomorrow. We're gonna talk about Katt Williams. You have to finish it. And then when I came in from work, you didn't finish watching Katt Williams last night. I said, no, I finished it at work today. I'm
Yeah.
prepared. But even if it wasn't for the fact that I knew what the topic matter was going to be about, I would have watched it anyway, because it was very entertaining.
Yeah.
Very
Very.
entertaining. Very entertaining, and very informative, especially like I said, when he talked about, his struggles and his journey from an adolescent to being where he is now.
Yeah. Definitely, man. And um I hope to see more shows like this, because I mean, like I said in the beginning, if it wasn't a movie, it could be a DC or Marvel movie. I'm not sitting in front of the TV for 3 hours and watching something. It's hard for me to sit in front of a TV for an hour just to watch anything. But to have something like that, man, I'm definitely I might just go back and rewatch it again, see what I might have missed.
See what you have
But
missed, yeah.
I'm pretty sure that I've watched everything. Um, but it to start off 2024, man, with
With
this
this
man,
jewel.
Yeah, I mean,
Which is definitely a jewel. That's
and I'm pretty sure, people are reaching out to Ricky Smiley and Cedric and Steve, if you can get a hold of him and this.
everybody that he mentioned. Everybody
Yeah.
that he mentioned.
So,
Because they
but
want to know the rebuttal. Katt Williams said such and such, and then they're trying to shove a mic in her face. TMZ is good for that. That's what made TMZ famous. What's your take? What do you think about that? How do you feel about that?
yeah,
Everybody wants to know what's next. That's how you know you move, you're making some motion.
exactly. So,
Everybody wants to see the reaction to your action.
yeah. So overall, man, this was a great episode. I know
Indeed.
you probably saw clips on social media. I would suggest you go back and watch the whole thing. Don't try to watch it all in 3 hours. If you got to break it up, go ahead and do it that way. But I suggest you go back and watch the whole thing for yourself. Form your
A
own
lot to
opinion.
digest.
Form your own opinion. If you gotta go back and look some stuff up, see what's facts, what's not, do that yourself. But this was very, very entertaining. And
To say the least.
I would like to see Katt go to another platform and do the same thing. And we'll see how that goes. So
What else
Katt
is there for
Williams.
him to say?
You know what? Here's the thing. I believe he got way more he could say.
You think so?
I believe it.
So now you're getting into that thin line between speaking your truth and, like I mentioned earlier, Jaguar Wright and Tasha K and Wendy Williams. You know what I
Hey,
mean?
hey,
When
listen.
when do you go from speaking your truth
Uh,
to spilling tea?
mm, it's
So
true.
I
Because yeah.
he probably does have a lot more to say, but I don't know if I want to hear it because Cat's not that type of person to me. I've
Nah, I mean,
never categorized him as such, and that's one of the things that make it is this podcast, the show, so impactful, so powerful because Cat's not that type. If somebody's showing up to if Jaguar Wright was on Shay's podcast, you already know what she's gonna say. She's gonna talk bad about a lot of people. You already expect
yeah,
that from her. That's her
she's done it on every
MO.
platform that
Yeah,
she's been
that's
on.
that's 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 how she's made a name for herself. That's her MO. But because Kat hasn't done it, doing it, that's what makes it like, oh shit, I gotta tune in. I mean, see what he's talking about.
And then if y'all hear it on the interview on Club Shay Shay, he does have a Netflix special coming out in a few months. So
So it still makes you wonder: is it timing or
I don't know if it's timing
is
because
he?
he did
Yeah,
it in
is he speaking?
January.
Is he speaking his truth or no? It aired in January. We don't know when he did it exactly. We just know he did it after Sid and Steve and Ricky. We don't know exactly when he did it, but
Mm.
it aired in January. And was that did he tell? Because you know if you have something that powerful and you can negotiate, he probably negotiated that with Shay. Hey man, we
Probably.
need to drop this. You need to drop this first of the year. When did August Alzina come out and say what he said about Jada Pinkett Smith?
Um,
Right
let me
before an
see.
album dropped. Right
Yeah,
before an album dropped that didn't do well.
yeah. Even with the single, it came and went.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, so um, yeah, it was a great episode, man. And Shannon Sharp, man, keep them coming, man. I'm a fan of yours.
Absolutely.
I love watching him on ESPN now. I don't think Skip has been the same since he left. So
He hasn't.
So keep doing your thing, man. More blessings to him. Uh, hey, look, Shannon Sharp, if you listening, if you ever want to come on the Drinking After Dark podcast, come on, man. Listen, I know you like to drink too. So you could drink your Henny, I could drink my Crown. We can have a great time and everything like that. Before we get out of here, Ron, is there anything that you would like to add before we go?
No, I think we pretty much summed it all up, man. This is a great episode. I think the people are gonna like it.
Definitely, definitely. And y'all could tune in to y'all can catch Drinking After Dark podcast on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. New episodes air every Friday on YouTube, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, wherever you listen to podcasts. Please support and make sure you hit that subscribe button on the YouTube channel. Until next
Sure.
time, for Ron, I'm Darius from Drinking After Dark podcast, and we out. Peace.
Gotta get to the money. Gotta get to the money. Early morning, so you know that I'm on it. So you know that I'm on it. Gotta make sure that my family straight. Gotta make sure that the kids and me. Gotta make sure that the bills is paid. And then let's get to the money. Get to the money. Early morning, so you know that I'm on it. And gotta make sure that my family straight. Gotta make sure that the kids and they. Gotta make sure that the bills is paid. And then let's get to the money. Get to the money.